If you're an aspiring leader, you already know the path is never, ever a straight line, right? It's really defined by how you handle those moments when everything feels like it's about to collapse. So today, we're going to dig into the mindset it takes to overcome those impossible odds, using one of the most polarizing figures of our time as a case study in what it really means to fail and to persist. And this quote, man, it just sets the stage perfectly. This is not a story about overnight success, not even close. It's about the brutal, grinding journey through failure. It's about looking into that abyss and somehow making the decision to keep pushing forward anyway. So, where does that kind of tolerance for risk even come from? Well, to really understand the entrepreneur, you've got to go back, all the way back. His early life wasn't just some biographical detail, it was literally the foundation for everything that would come later. You see this really stark contrast here. It's like on one hand, you have what he himself describes as a violent and difficult home life, but on the other hand, you have this incredible explosion of self-reliance. Teaching himself to code at 10, selling software at 12, and then leaving the continent completely on his own as a teenager. You can see a pattern emerging early on. When your environment is chaos, you learn how to build your own world, your own path. And this quote just nails the core idea. For some people, that kind of adversity is a crushing weight. But for others, it becomes the very fire that tempers them, you know? It creates a resilience that can handle unbelievable pressure later in life. It's a mindset that basically reframes pain as preparation. Okay, so you've got this resilience forged in fire. What happens when you unleash that on the real world? Well, it leads him straight to Silicon Valley for his first real tests in the world of high-risk, high-reward ventures. I mean, just look at how compressed this timeline is. It's insane. This is not someone who takes a victory lap. He arrives with practically nothing in '95, and just 7 years later, he's already starting his third major company. The sale of one business immediately becomes the seed money for the next, even more ambitious project. It's just relentless, nonstop momentum. This is where you see that sacrifice to reward ratio. And it's just, wow. Sleeping on the office floor, showering at the YMCA. These aren't just fun stories. They represent a level of absolute all-in commitment. And that $22 million he walked away with, it wasn't just money. It was validation. It was proof that you could turn an idea into reality through sheer force of will. It's a brutal, visceral quote, right? But it perfectly captures the psychological toll. It's not just about the financial risk. It's about that daily, grinding pressure and knowing you are always just one step away from total failure. For any founder watching this, I bet that feeling hits pretty close to home. Okay, the PayPal story. This is a masterclass in getting knocked down and getting right back up. Can you even imagine pouring your soul into a revolutionary idea only to get fired from your own company while you're on your honeymoon? For most people, that's it. Story over. But here, that's just step 2. The real key is what happens next. He stays involved, sees it through to a massive acquisition, and then, instead of riding off into the sunset, he takes every single dollar and rolls it into even crazier ventures, rockets and electric cars. And this is where the story goes from high stakes to just unbelievable. We're moving past the risk of failure and into the near certainty of it. This was the moment that all that resilience forged years ago was tested to its absolute breaking point. So let's paint the picture. It's 2008. The entire world is in a financial crisis. And at the exact same time, both of his moonshot companies, SpaceX and Tesla, are burning through cash and about to hit a wall. We're talking days, maybe even hours from total and complete collapse. Just try to put yourself in that headspace for a second. Not 1, not 2, but 3 consecutive failures. Each one is a multi-million-dollar explosion, a public spectacle of your dream literally turning into a fireball and falling out of the sky. Your team is wiped out, investors are long gone, and hope is just about zero. And then it gets worse. You hit zero. After pouring every last cent of his personal fortune from the PayPal sale into these companies, there was nothing left. Money for one last attempt. That's it. No more second chances. No plan B. And this just says it all. The stakes could not possibly be higher. This wasn't just about one rocket failing. It was the end of the entire company, the end of the whole dream of trying to get humanity to other planets. Everything was riding on this one moment. But right from that absolute brink, that's where the turning point happens. This is where all that relentless persistence finally collides with one single moment of breakthrough that changes the trajectory of, well, everything. You have to see how all of this was connected, like a house of cards ready to fall. The fourth Falcon 1 launch works. It actually reaches orbit. And that success, that one single data point proving the tech wasn't a joke, is what unlocks a critical NASA contract, literally on Christmas Eve. And that contract doesn't just save SpaceX. The money from it is what saves Tesla, which was hours away from its own death. One success pulled two impossible dreams back from the abyss. So, for any leader watching this, what's the big lesson here? It's all about relentless iteration. Those first 3 rockets weren't just failures. They were expensive, explosive learning experiences. Each one gave them crucial data that they immediately plugged back into the next design. Failure stops being the end of the road, and it becomes just another data point on the path to finding the road. Okay, but here's the thing. After a moment that triumphant, you've got to look at the other side of the coin. Because for anyone who aspires to have this level of impact, you have to remember that success is never the full story. There is always a price to pay. This right here, this is the stuff nobody puts in the victory speech. The idea of sacrifice isn't some abstract concept. It becomes painfully real with 120-hour work weeks, missed family moments, broken relationships, and a kind of stress that, in his words, never goes away. It's a pretty stark reminder that changing the world often means sacrificing a big piece of your own. And you know, this quote, this is really the core belief that makes all of that sacrifice make sense, at least to him. It reframes the whole struggle. It's not just a burden. It's a necessary cost for chasing a mission you believe is fundamentally important. It's a choice you make that's driven by purpose, even when the odds and the personal costs are completely stacked against you. So that leaves us here. This journey reveals a pretty clear pattern. World-changing ambition demands a kind of superhuman unwillingness to quit, no matter what it costs you. And it brings up a really tough question we all have to ask ourselves. For our own ambitions, for the change we want to make in the world, what price are we truly willing to pay?